is a cheap adventure to Mallorca. So then, guess what? My plane is delayed by just a few minutes, under 3 hours, meaning I couldn't claim compensation. And I'm at Gatwick Airport. This is the last plane of the day, so it's the middle of the night, airport's now deserted, and I'm bored out of my mind, so let's go and take a look at some lifts. And here is a shit platform lift. Guess what voice it's got?
Going down. Going up.
That's right, it's got Drew's Grove. Drew's Grove in a platform lift. Poor Drew's Grove. So I'm looking around for lifts and I want to go to a Schindler D series.
Don't have any of these keys. Schindler keys are hard to get. There's only hydraulic though. That took a long time to start.
Thank you.
Well, what voice is that? Is that the smart voice? These chocolates are normally £1, but for airport duty free should be cheaper. You don't have to pay duty on it. £3. That makes so much sense. And welcome to a most pointless gate. It's just what? There's a barrier, literally, in the middle. That does not make it.
And along some more Schindlers.
These are probably originally D series before they got modernised. Oh, okay. That didn't look good. Departures level. This is one of the old Schindlers. Ones that they've placed most of these with eco discs. How far is this going? I thought it was only going 3 metres. Ground level. Oh, not quite. Almost a perfect N series, not quite.
And I want to go to a nice eco disc.
Various overpriced lounges. This has got a voice.
Doors closing.
Oh, this one sounds nice and accelerates fast.
Fourth floor. Doors open.
And pre-door. Actually, that's all set up nice. I like that. Posh lounges. Going up.
Doors closing.
Third floor.
Doors open.
Nice pre-door.
And I want to go to the glass bridge section, which goes high above the aeroplanes, which has some more nice eco discs.
We're outside of the Gatwick's for loud flying times. The only plane coming is my plane because it's delayed. But the escalators are still running and absolutely no one's using them. Look at that. Absolutely no one's using them. Both are going up because people only are going to their plane. No one's going to come back. People coming back up behind that glass, going down to where the arrivals are. Waste of electricity. And over here we have eco discs. A nice eco disc going right up to the bridge. Doors well too slow. Okay, Feast Bridge, that's about 15 metres I think, or 20 metres up to that. So I wonder how far down it goes. Probably not that far, but it's probably locked. Cool, locked. Code is of course 1234. Nope, code's not 1234. Does not have pre-doors. And here's the bridge. So here's an eco disc, button panel, but another button panel right over there. What a stupid place to put a button panel. Middle of the night, no one about, and I'm bored out of my mind. But guess what? They provided a free treadmill for me. Isn't that nice of them? A free running sort of strip. Or if you want to run the other way, it's either a speed trip if you go forwards, or if you want to go backwards, it's a free treadmill. And if we look out a window, there's EasyJet planes. And my plane's delayed for just under 3 hours. If it was over 3 hours, I would have fired up another plane, because then if it's over 3 hours, I have to pay compensation. Because it's just under. More want to leave the passengers waiting. Isn't that nice of them?
And I managed to find the microphone for doing announcements. And it's got 3 buttons on it. One to announcement just at a gate, one for the area leading up to a gate, and one to do an announcement all across departures. Oh, I was so tempted. But I didn't want to be kicked out of the airport, so I just did an announcement at the gate.
It does it on that speaker, so let's just test this. Testing, testing, testing. corridor. This airport's actually really big. I have so much capacity here, but it's all empty at night time.
And finally, we are now getting on the aeroplane. And here I am at Mallorca. And so then, this is the area outside of a hotel. And in there's a cheap flight adventure costing just £80 per person for 3 nights and flights. The price you pay seems to add up quite a bit in Spain. We had to pay €20 just for the late night taxi to get to the hotel. It was a right rip-off. And along we go to the first hotel, which has some nice eco discs. And let's go along to the service lift, which is a nice old swing door lift, which has been modernised by Cone a bit, but it's still really interesting. Let's get on top. And up on the top floor, there is a door which leads to a weird little staircase above a light shaft in the middle of the building. And this staircase is so weird, right at the top of the light shaft, and it leads up to the roof. And along I go to the next hotel, which is a bit of an old person's hotel, and the lifts are some very cheap Chinese lifts. And along I go to the service lift, which is a nice old 2-speed levelling 80s lift with a nice loud levelling sound. Let's get on top it. And along I go to a shopping centre, and this shopping centre seems very run down. Almost all of the shops are empty. The only shop that's open is the large supermarket. And one tip for when you go to Spain, don't go to any of the little small supermarkets or any of the little touristy shops. They'll rip you off. Make sure you go to one of the big supermarkets that all of the locals go to. And along I go to the lift at this empty shopping centre, which is an Otis 2000.
Mallet. What was Otis 2000E? Why is it you only see Otis 2000Es in like Spain? You don't really get them in England.
So then, carry on taking a look around the area near my hotel, and there's loads of palm trees everywhere. And let's take a look in the next building, which is a residential building, which has a lift that's sadly been modernised.
Fuck, I did not think that's going to single speed.
Right then, let's go on a bendy bus along to Palma, and this bus has a really nice voice. So then, let's take a look around Palma, and along we go to the first lift, which is a very cheap version of an Otis 2000.
Fuck, that's cheap. Door closing. And the brand that Otis took over were EK. Cheap.
And let's take a look around the streets here. It all looks very old looking. And along I go to a really awesome Schindler M series. And most of the lifts in Mallorca, either like modern brands of lift which are quite cheap, sort of modern lifts, or there's sort of 80s 2-speed old lifts which are also quite cheap. And or either like cheap little sort of generic-y Spanish lifts. There's very few good lifts in Spain. But this Schindler M series is absolutely perfect. It's well built, high quality, heavy duty, and full intelligent levelling and capacitive buttons. This lift is completely epic.
And how is it level? Perfect.
And along I go to the next lift. And guess what? Both of these two lifts are not working. Wow, these lifts really are cheap. And the next lift is a nice old lift, which has sadly been modernised by Meccano lift. And let's get on top this lift. And along I go to this very old looking shopping centre. And along I go to the next lift, which is a Spanish 2-speed lift. And along I go to the main shopping centre in the centre of Palma. And this shopping centre is very run down and grotty. For a central shopping centre, how can it be in such a bad state? All of the shops here are selling either tacky, unnecessary stuff or overpriced stuff for tourists. And the lift here is a very, very cheap Spanish generic.
That charm's a bit much.
And open it up, and this is what it looks like on top. But then someone came around the corner and I almost got caught if the shaft door was open. And although I go to a shop which has a nice Otis 2000 VF.
What is SS?
So you've got a fountain up there, some famous building there, and over there
You see that person there, pretending to be an invisible person, one of those sort of tourist busking things. But over here, don't stop and look at them because they're decoys. And if you stop and look, someone else will come up behind you and rob you.
So then let's go having a look around the streets of Palma. And along to the next lift, which is a Schindler. I don't actually recognise this model of Schindler.
Never seen this store before either. And inside is modernised, that's a shame. 80s, loads of 80s lifts, but most of them modded. 2-speed logic, very, very simple logic. That didn't sound good. Door closing. Yeah, I should open these doors quite a bit. It doesn't even say to brake, you can do that. Doesn't even say to brake. Ground floor. Door opening. There's 2 different alarms. So when you're stuck in a lift, you can choose which alarm sounds better. Isn't that a nice feature?
And I'll go to this market in Palma and let's take a look at the lifts here, which are some ThyssenKrupp Isis, Spanish edition.
Let's go 1, Market Gallery. Door closing. Rear door closing. That's random. Many people actually call this lift just to use it as an exit. They call the lift and walk through and just get straight out the other side. Isis, Spanish edition.
Planta 1.
And let's get on top this Isis.
Door closing. Well, I was on top of that lift and randomly inspection suddenly stopped working. But it has gone back into service, so it all works. Safety's not broken because it's gone back into service, but for some reason, inspection suddenly stopped working.
So then I'll go to the next lift, which is quite an unusual looking lift, but it seems rather generic-y.
And this lift has the stop button. There we go, it's going and disabled. Health and disabled buttons. A is roof. 2-speed levelling. I don't really get about Spain. There's no stickers they get on their lifts. So you've got that sticker, Schindler plaque. I'm not sure which manufacturer this was originally. That sticker, service sticker, a sensor inspection sticker, another sticker.
And I'll go to the next building, which has some nice eco discs.
Logic is no different to any other eco disc.
Let's get on top here. And here is an Arona car park lift.
No idea where prices for parking charge, 0.03210.05 euros a minute.
And let's now go along to Palma station and let's go on the Palma train system. There's two different types of train here, the metro trains and the commuter trains. The metro trains just go short distance, stop at all stops out of Palma, and the commuter trains sort of go a longer distance. But this railway is not very extensive. This railway is very much aimed at the locals and does not go to the various hotel resorts around the island. It seems very weird, it seems very Spanish, it reminds me a bit of the Benidorm train tram system. First, let's go on the metro train. And now we get off the metro train and go on the commuter train. Like everything else in Spain. What? That started up like it was a traction, but it's not, it's hydraulic. Terrible levelling, they didn't have to slow it down that early. So then, here I am at some random little Spanish town which I got on the train to. Let's take a look around. And I was going to climb this crane. The building site looked empty, but I'm so glad I didn't, as the building site only stopped for a midday siesta and all of the workers were just coming back. If I climbed the crane, I would have been caught. And I'll go to the next lift, which is a hydraulic Arona.
Lift going up.
Oh, it's hydraulic, that's boring. The levelling on this is actually really quick. You wouldn't have thought it for hydraulic, especially not on a Rona hydraulic. So then, back along to Palma. Disc. DMG. Wait, it is actually an eco disc. Why have they put a horrible piece of DMG crap there? Pre-door, that's good. And here's the Palma bus station. These buses are really overpriced. These are like the touristy sort of long distance buses that take you like from the airport or various big places around different hotels. They are very expensive compared with the local buses. The local buses only cost €1.50 to travel on, and I'd much recommend you get on the local buses and don't get on these overpriced coach buses. The local buses are a bit slower than these, but are much more interesting. And here are some lifts at the bus station, which are some nice eco discs. Oh no, pre-door! So then I now get on one of the local buses and along back to my hotel. Also, notice that this driver is pre-starting the bus, but he doesn't pre-door the bus. Pre-doors is where the driver opens the door before the bus is stopped, and the time the doors are fully open, the bus is fully stopped, and that is actually safe. But this bus probably doesn't allow it since the driver's not doing it. But this driver is pre-starting the bus, meaning he starts the bus moving before the doors are fully shut, and this is not safe because he looks in the mirror, sees it clear to go, starts moving at the same time as the doors are closing. So I could have got stuck in the doors at that point while the bus has started moving. So this driver obviously does not care that much about safety.